Welcome to Terrier Vision. Kyle Matrician joined alongside Wofford men's basketball freshman Fletcher McGee from Orlando, Florida. Fletcher, let's talk about the season. To this point, just about to end the first round of Southern Conference play Saturday night against Western Carolina. A big win Thursday night against ETSU, who came in 6-1. What has the team been doing well over its last few games?
I think, last night was definitely a huge win to beat them. I think we've just been playing a little bit better on defense, trying to get some more motion and movement in our offense as well. I think that showed last night when we started to put some points up, and we did a pretty good job on a good offensive team.
10 points for you against ETSU, 12 double-figure scoring games in your freshman season. You scored 22, let's talk about that first, in your collegiate debut at Missouri. And what was that like for you? First game at an SEC opponent, 22 points. I think you went 5 of 7 from 3 in that game. Just talk about that game and what it was like for you to have such a good start to your collegiate career.
It was actually really cool because it was on my birthday, and it was my first game, and my best friend goes to Mizzou. So and my family got to be there, so it was just kind of a big emotional night. And I saw my first 3 go in from there, and that just kind of gave me that confidence of like, hey, I can do it at this level. And so then I just started feeling pretty good, and then my teammates did a good job getting me open, and Coach ran us some pretty good plays. So that was definitely a fun night.
And some other games during the non-conference season, the Terriers went and played at UNC at the Dean Dome, game 2 right after Mizzou. What was that? I mean, I know we're kind of going game by game here for a second, but to play at the Dean Dome, your second game ever as a freshman, what was that like?
That was definitely a cool experience. Walking in there, seeing all that Carolina blue was cool. We actually played pretty well at first too, and then it kind of got away from us. But that was a great experience getting to play against the number 1 ranked team in the country at the time, and an environment like that. So that was something I'll definitely remember.
Yeah, the Terriers were only down 5 points in that game at halftime before it kind of slipped away in the final minutes. A very good game, if I remember. And then we'll kind of get later on in the season at Austin Peay. The Terriers a little bit of a struggle through the non-conference, but as we've mentioned before and as I've talked about with other players, a lot of tough opponents at Clemson, at Georgia Tech. But December 22nd at Austin Peay for you, 27 points off the bench, the most points off the bench in quite a while for this program, and maybe something that kind of earned you a starting role on this team as we got into conference play. So do you share your thoughts about the night against Austin Peay?
Well, against Austin Peay, me and Coach Kern sat down and we looked at some film on how to get open better because I've been struggling. I mean, we played some really good teams that's good athletes. So I was kind of struggling to get open, and that night kind of cleared it up. I started cutting off the ball a lot better, using my screens better, and then I saw I think my first 3 go in, and then from there I just felt pretty good about my shot for the rest of the night.
Now, Southern Conference play has started, and I'd say the league is pretty balanced this year. The Terriers with a 5-3 record. Chattanooga is sitting in first at 6-1. Handed ETSU only their second loss of the season Thursday night. What are your thoughts on Southern Conference play so far, and have any of the opponents stood out to you through the first go-around?
I think every team's really balanced. I mean, across the board, anyone can beat anyone on any given night. So, I mean, you got to play, you got to show up every single night and play. I think it'd be hard to say that Citadel doesn't stand out just by the way they play, the crazy fanatic style. But every team's good. You have to show up every night and play good.
Now, being from Orlando, Florida, quite a bit of ways away, about an 8-hour drive. What's the college experience been like for you so far outside of the basketball court?
I've actually really liked it. The campus is really nice and pretty here. Academics are good. The teachers are there to help you. Players, everyone on the team's great. So it's been a good transition, I think, coming from about 8 hours away. There's a good family here.
And through your classes, through the early part of your 4 years at Wofford, has any major been put on your mind? Have there been any classes in your first semester or through interim that you've particularly enjoyed?
I'm not really sure quite yet about my major. I think I might major in sociology, though. I kind of liked my first sociology class, so we'll see how that goes, but I'm not quite positive yet.
Now, for anybody that's watched you play, quite an interesting style, at least from what I've seen, on offense. a spot-up three-point shooter for the most part, it looks like. Has that been something that you've developed throughout high school, or has it been a change in style of basketball for you as you've gotten into college?
Kind of really started my 9th grade year. That was like the first year I really like learned how to shoot. And so since then I've worked on my shot a lot and been a shooter. But I mean, definitely at this level, you know, there's a lot of good players, a lot of good athletes out there. So being able to hit the three is very important.
All right, Fletcher. Well, we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, through the rest of the Southern Conference season, and into the SoCon tournament this March in Asheville.
All right, thank you guys.